Yeah, to the ball game. Take me out.
Good morning. Welcome to Take Me Out to the Ball Game today as we get you rolling in the world of sports and news headlines in just a few minutes of your time. The USA basketball's roster has been set, and we'll get into some news about the Olympics here in a second, but the USA basketball finalized its roster for the Tokyo Olympics set to take place next month. Chicago Bulls, Zach LaVine, the Pistons, Jeremy Grant, Brooklyn Nets star James Harden is pulled out because of his hamstring injury. They will have Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, Damian Lillard is planning on playing, Bradley Beal, Jason Tatum, Kevin Love, and Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and Devin Booker, three guys who are still playing. They do plan on playing as well. Now, obviously, if an injury takes place, that would mess that up. Now, about the Olympic roster, the issue at hand is this, and this makes you wonder if it's going to get played or not, because the Japan's prime minister is said he is extremely worried that the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics could accelerate the spread of the coronavirus. The games will bring in thousands of foreign athletes, officials, et cetera, and he's worried about the coronavirus spreading. So you worry that he's going to backstroke. And if it happens, it's going to cancel it. You cannot organize the Olympics that quickly. If he waits this long and backs out of it, you're going to have a lot of disappointed athletes around the world. I'm hoping that cooler heads prevail. We're on the backside of this coronavirus. You got the vaccines out there. And I don't understand why they couldn't have these vaccinations set up for all the athletes before it ever starts. We're still like a month out. And as far as traveling into Japan, if they decide that they don't want, other than the athletes, if they don't want people who are not affiliated with the Olympics in their country, they've got that right. I think the Olympics would be big for the world, even if you didn't have people coming from around the globe. And I get that part of it. But not playing the Olympics at all, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough on a lot of athletes who have, these Olympic athletes, their sports that they only get a couple of chances to do this in their lifetime, and they prepare. It would be really disappointing. We'll see what happens with that. All right. In the NBA last night, the Hawks take a 1-0 lead. Trae Young scores 48 points in Milwaukee to shock the Bucks. They're up 1-0. Game 2 will be tomorrow night. You've got game 3 of the Suns at the Clippers. Spurs are on my mind because of the next story. And you've got, it looks like Chris Paul will most likely play tonight, but Kawhi Leonard is not going to play. So that's what's being reported right now. Chris Paul is likely. Kawhi Leonard is not likely. So that's a big game in itself. And we talked about this on the Armchair Quarterbacks live show that we do every morning at 8:30 Eastern on this channel. This is one of the biggest games in the history of the Clippers. If they lose tonight, they're probably done. And if they're done, I don't believe Kawhi Leonard is going to come back. I think he's going to opt out, and you're going to see him move elsewhere. He could go to Phoenix, stay out there out west. He could decide to hell with it. I'm coming back east. I'm going to play for you. You got a lot of options. The Knicks, the Celtics. So biggest game in the history of the Clippers tonight, 9:00 Eastern. As far as the NHL, the Islanders force a game 7 in an overtime goal after being down 2-0. They come roaring back. Game 7 tomorrow night, Friday night, 8 Eastern. Tonight, Vegas and Montreal. It's in Montreal. Montreal could end the series with the win against the Knights. If the Knights win, they would force a game 7 on Saturday. Islanders, Tampa Bay, by the way, tomorrow night at 8:00 Eastern. College World Series is going, and the College World Series today, after Vanderbilt got the big come from behind win on a walk-off wild pitch. Today it's Texas and Virginia. They play for the right to go head-to-head with Mississippi State tomorrow night. Mississippi State, this is a double elimination tournament until you get to the championship series. Mississippi State has not lost. North Carolina State has not lost. North Carolina State will play Vanderbilt at 2:00 tomorrow. Rocker's expected on the mound. If Vanderbilt can win that, they're probably going to go with Leiter and see how far he can go on Saturday. Mississippi State, in turn, is waiting to see who they will play. As once again, tonight's big game, there's only one game in college baseball, Virginia and Texas. It's do or die. Virginia, a 3 seed. They were one of the favorites going in, but they are fighting for their playoff lives. Major League Baseball, we got a decent slate for you today. And Braves Reds start a series today. That game was your MLB Network game of the night. Yankees and Royals. So we got early games, which is fun. Yankees and Royals at 105. Tyon versus Keller. At 205, it's A's versus Rangers. Kobe Aller versus Bassett. And then the games tonight, Cubs and Dodgers will be back at it again. They begin their series tonight. Davies versus Buehler. Gonna be rough, Cubby fans, but Davies versus Buehler. Looking forward to that matchup. Rays, Red Sox, they end their series tonight because Yankees, Red Sox begins tomorrow in Boston. So it's Pivetta versus Waka. You got to give the advantage to Pivetta, but the Rays have come off their losing streak. So we'll see what happens with that as another big game for the Tampa Bay Rays as they're fighting for their playoff lives. Okay. The rest of the NBA, Major League Baseball slate, pretty ho-hum. Tigers against Houston. The Nats, who are now in second place in the East. Look out, break up the Nats. They are at the Marlins and Indians and Twins. So there you have that. And in case you missed the NFL news, Derek Geis, charges were dropped. So we'll see what happens. He hasn't played in the NFL in 3 years, but his domestic violence charges were dropped. And Antonio Brown's probation has been ended early. So there you have that. Other than that, College World Series tonight, the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, got a lot going on, and we look forward to it. We're going to go ahead and get out of here and make this a quick one today, as we will see you tomorrow on Take Me Out to the Ball Game today on the Armchair Quarterbacks Show channel here on YouTube Live. We'll see you.
Take me out to the ball